Hot dog, hot diggity dog. That's always in my head because my daughter listens to the Mickey Mouse Club all the time. But hot dog, I am excited to have one of my closest friends, one of my allies in the industry, and one of the dang smartest men I know. What else did you want me to say?
I'm bearded.
Yeah, bearded. Yeah, thank you very much. We have Robby Trefethren with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching in studio with us. Robby, great to have you. Give us a little background about where you're from, where'd you go to school, tell us about your family, your blood type, all those things everybody's dying to know.
Well, I think it makes the most sense to start with blood type. I think I'm O positive. I actually don't know. I'm making that up right now.
Great. Okay, great.
I grew up in Fargo. I've lived here since I was 3 years old. Fargo South grad from 2008. Go Bruins. Ended up going to MSUM. Studied political science. Graduated in 2013. And now I have the pleasure of working with you guys.
And your background previous, before you came to real estate, you were doing political campaigns, right?
Yeah, I worked on a couple political campaigns.
So were you a politician, or were you one of the grunts behind the scenes?
Definitely the grunt. I was somebody who was knocking doors, making phone calls on behalf of candidates that I worked for.
Wow, sounds terrible.
It was an interesting experience. It was great because I love the people I worked with. But you face a lot of rejection when you're in a field of work like that.
Sounds like your dating life up until you found Lauren as well.
Yeah, that's a very accurate assessment.
You're married, you have a fabulous daughter, and you have a bun in the oven too.
I don't have it, but my wife does. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, good thing you clarified.
Yes.
Otherwise, people were super confused.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we are expecting our first boy come February-ish. So
February-ish, but your wife is ready today.
Yeah, she wants it out, I'm sure. But yeah, it should be coming soon.
Good. Well, I love the name Erik. I just want to throw that out there. I think it's a beautiful family name and could do really well. Erik Trefethren sounds perfect.
It kind of rhymes, I guess. So sure,
not at all. Not at all. Robby, what is it that you have done with Hatch Realty, and what is it that you're now doing with Hatch Coaching?
Yeah. So when I started on the team, my whole job was to really be the first point of contact for our clients. So when somebody reached out to us and said they wanted to sell or buy a home, my whole role was to really be the first person to touch base, assess their needs, desires, wants, and really formulate a plan for us, our team, and our agents to help them either buy or sell a home.
Mm-hmm. And you've now moved into a leader and a coach and a trainer role with this, but you've changed the game. Your job previous was called what?
An inside sales agent.
Inside sales agent, or ISA, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't think that sales is the right word for it.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, real estate, there's always sales because that's the end result, right? But you look at it in a different sort of way. What is that?
Yeah, one of the big things that we've changed is really just calling it inside service, because that's the whole point of that role is not to sell somebody, but instead to assess their needs, desires, and develop that plan to provide the best game plan for service.
Tell me more, Robby, because I think that people quite often say that at the bottom of the barrel of people that they try to avoid are folks like used car salesmen, lawyers, realtors, financial investors, insurance agents, right? I mean, people are always like, oh, they're always just pushing stuff on me, right?
Right.
How is that different in our world?
Well, I think the biggest difference is I actually don't think people want to be sold. I think people want to make their own decisions. And my whole goal and job when we were inside service agents, when I was doing that, was instead of trying to sell somebody and trying to sell somebody a home, my job was to find out what was important to them, make sure my agent would know what's important and reaffirm that. That way, when it came down to it, to buying a house, we could remind them of the things that they said were important.
Okay, so I'd imagine that when you get somebody on the phone, your goal is to find out what they need and then to push it right away and to get them off the phone as fast as possible, right?
Absolutely not. And in no manner is that true for us.
Okay, and why is that?
I think it's nearly impossible to truly assess someone's needs and wants and really what they're hoping to get done in what I've said, less than 10 minutes. So my goal, a lot of people believe in the mantra, always be closing. And our goal as inside service agents is instead to always be connecting. And there's no way in less than 10 minutes that you can accurately find out what someone's story is it's just not possible.
I like that. Robby, you had an example, and without going into specific names and other things, you had somebody call and basically say that they wanted to work with us. But it's an interesting story. I want to leave it as a cliffhanger as we go to break here. In the meantime, Robby, do me a favor. Tell people in a very brief snapshot of what they can expect if they end up signing up on our website or if they end up reaching out to us via phone. What kind of experience will they get and who will they talk to?
Yeah, they're either going to talk to Jim or Pete or one of our new inside service agents in a few months. And really, it's just us reaching out if somebody signs up to really have a conversation to see if there's any way we can help them out. That's really the whole point of us reaching out or having that conversation.
So we simply say, how can we help you, right? Not can I get you in this house right away, or let's put your house on the market so we can earn a quick commission.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love it. Robby Trefethren with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching. Stick around because there is a story you have to tell. Folks, don't miss out on this story. It's really imperative. In the meantime, head to livefargomoorhead.com to connect with us. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and in studio with us, we still have the ever debonair, always vest-wearing Robby Trefethren with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching. Robby, we promised the listeners that you would tell them one of our favorite stories of how you acting as an inside service agent as opposed to an inside sales agent made all the difference. Tickle our ears with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really just started off like this. I had reached out to a potential client that signed up on our website, and I reached out to them immediately, and they weren't actually interested in buying or selling, and this person was the daughter of somebody else that was looking to buy a new home. I briefly talked to them, got off the phone very quickly, and quickly thanked her for her time, and what she ended up doing was she was very impressed by us. She sent my contact information over to her mother, and her mom gave me a call the next day.
So hold up real quick. This gal signs up on the website to look for a house, but she's actually not a buyer.
Exactly.
And you still took the time to have a conversation.
For sure. It was probably about 2 minutes, and she didn't even live in the Fargo-Moorhead area, but she told me immediately that she was looking for a mom. She wasn't the power player, but she was just kind of looking for fun, almost like if, someone was looking and you wanted to see what the market was like.
So were you quickly saying, what is your mom's contact information so I can call her and get a deal?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, why? Because that's so against the grain of what people think happen in this industry.
Right. My goal when I reach out to somebody is not to, again, sell somebody. My goal is to provide service. So what I said to this lady was, I really appreciated your time today. If there's anything I could do for your mother, feel free to reach out to me here at my direct cell phone number. And then I, of course, followed up with an email and a text, which I think is really what kind of won her over. And I basically said the same thing, and then her mom gave me a call back the next day.
Okay, so mom calls and says, Robby, I need a house.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went. She says she needed a house. And then basically had said she heard great things about Hatch Realty. At that point, a lot of people would advocate pretty much go for the close.
She said we like you. She called you.
Right.
Right. So did you instantaneously say, okay, I'm going to set you up with one of our agents so we can get you in?
Yeah, absolutely not at all. Instead, again, with our philosophy, my whole goal is to ask really great questions. And it took a couple times, and as the conversation progressed, about 5-10 minutes in, it became apparent that what she said she was motivated by was she was looking for a different home, is what she said. So she told me that she had a house to sell. She was looking for a different home. And at that point, again, according to Always Be Closing, I should probably go for the close.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so did you go for the close then?
No, I did not. Okay. Where we went from there was after she told me about her house and the details of it, I again asked her the question of, well, obviously you said you're kind of looking for something different. Why is that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And about 35 minutes later,
so you're on the phone with her for 35 minutes at this point.
10 minutes at this point, and then it becomes a 45-minute phone conversation.
Okay, and so why is she moving?
So 45 minutes later, I've been told a couple things. One, her and her husband were involved in a motorcycle accident down in Florida about 6 months prior to this. And unfortunately, her husband passed away in the crash, and she was still recovering from it. And what she ended up saying was what she really needed was not just a new home, but she was tired of being reminded of the accident every single day.
In the house that her and her husband were at, right?
They lived, yeah.
I mean, that's heavy stuff, Robby.
Right.
This woman was slow to open up. I mean, you had
Very.
to pry those doors open, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What are the consequences if you just try to close her right away? She already called us and said that she's interested. Why wouldn't you try to close her right away? Like, what are the consequences if you just set that appointment and then hand off the baton to somebody else on our team?
So I think in the always be closing scenario, if I go for that close right away, I'd probably get her connected with one of our top salespeople because that's what numbers tell me is going to happen. And one of the things I asked this woman about 35 minutes in, I don't remember for sure, was, well, what are you looking for in an agent? And her quote verbatim was, I absolutely do not want to work with your top salesperson.
Why?
Because when you have this conversation with her, most salespeople that are very, very good like that sell the most, are very quick. And they're very...
Yeah, quick and aggressive.
Quick
right?
and aggressive,
Yeah.
right. And there's
And
pros
that
and
fits
cons.
me.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And this lady was not built that way. And she didn't want a salesperson like that. She wanted somebody that was going to be able to slow things down and move at a pace that was more comfortable for her.
So you knew when setting those appointments who to set her up with,
Right.
Because you're trying to match her with the best fit. You know that you need to have an extra long appointment because this isn't a sales business. This is a service business.
Correct.
And sales are a byproduct of service.
Right.
And so everything that you're doing from that initial phone call to make sure that the baton gets handed off to the right people, had you not done your job, Robby,
Yep.
Could we have sold her house? Yeah.
For sure.
Would we have taken great care of her?
Probably. That's the best we could have.
Right, but not as well as she deserved.
Nowhere
without
near.
asking the right questions.
Right.
Robby, who else in this community and in this industry is doing what you're doing?
I think we're the first advocates for it.
In terms of moving really slowly, and there are people out there throughout the country who are doing a great job at this.
For sure.
And we're learning from them, and they're learning from us. But locally, as far as we know, our inside service department is the first inside service department. There might be inside sales agents. We have inside service agents, and we think that's the main difference.
I agree.
And so, Robby, I love what you're doing, the leadership that you're bringing to our company, and the difference that you're making in this community. Thank you for being a changer of worlds here.
Thank you.
You bet. Those of you tuning in, if you want to connect with Robby or one of our inside service agents, reach out to us at livefargomoorhead.com.